Demolished!
You've just crossed the line.
My neighborhood association tore down my backyard workshop over some disputed dues, not knowing I was inside having coffee with someone who could unravel their whole corrupt empire. At 7:05 a.m., the wrecking bar smashed through the wall, and Victoria Langford had no clue she was swinging at a hornet's nest. I'm talking about a person whose daily grind involves putting away crooks at the state level. That $3,200 in fees was about to cost her everything. Too bad for Victoria, she picked the wrong morning to play bully. The payback was poetic, but it got me thinking, what's the craziest overreach you've seen from a homeowners group? Stick around, because this tale spirals into something straight out of a thriller with buried secrets, midnight digs, and a federal takedown that still gives me chills. Let me introduce myself properly. I'm Michael Reynolds, and until about 8 months ago, I figured I had the good life nailed down in Oak Ridge Estates, a quiet suburb outside Chicago. Solid home, loving wife Sarah, steady work as a legal advisor, helping retired folks navigate bureaucratic messes after years in the workforce. I'd even put up this sturdy workshop in the backyard, nothing fancy, just a place to tinker with woodworking projects on weekends. It took me 4 months of sweat equity, hammering away after long days at the office. Sarah would pop out with iced tea and we'd chat about turning it into a quiet retreat for her folks when they visited from Ohio, or maybe a spot for me to handle client files without cluttering the house. Everything was above board. Permits filed, inspections passed. That's how I roll by the rules, no shortcuts. Then Victoria Langford rolled into town and snagged the presidency of our homeowners association. I'd crossed paths with some real tyrants during my time in corporate consulting, but this lady was on another level. Imagine a polished realtor type, sharp suits, manicured nails, that polished grin that never quite warms the eyes. But underneath, pure venom, like a coiled snake in pearls. She started with the nitpicky stuff fines for fence heights off by an inch, complaints about holiday lights lingering too long. Harmless enough to ignore at first, but she ramped it up, slapping on surprise levies for community enhancements that never materialized, turning the association into her personal piggy bank. Folks grumbled, but paid up. Life was busy. Who wanted the hassle? Not me. At least not until she set her sights on my workshop. It kicked off on a crisp Wednesday morning. I was out there sorting through some retirement claim documents when Sarah called from the kitchen door, her tone laced with that "troubles brewing" edge wives perfect over years of marriage. Peering out, I saw Victoria striding across my lawn like she was queen of the block, clutching a sheaf of papers. Trailing her was Jason Harlan from Harlan Builders, a local contractor I'd bumped into at hardware store. Solid guy, ex-Navy like me, but looking mighty uncomfortable that day. I stepped outside, and Victoria hit me with that saccharine smile, the kind that sets your teeth on edge. "Morning, Michael," she cooed. "I've got some paperwork that might interest you." The document looked official, embossed seal, legal jargon galore. But something nagged. The ink seemed fresh, the formatting a tad sloppy. My gut, honed from decades spotting contract loopholes, screamed foul. It claimed I owed $3,200 in back dues, plus an $18,000 violation fee, and if I didn't cough it up in 24 hours, my workshop was toast demolished for noncompliance. I could have written the check. The money wasn't the end of the world. But this went deeper. I'd watched Victoria squeeze out neighbors for months. The retired couple down the street, the Harrisons, who downsized after she buried them in phantom repair bills they couldn't swing on Social Security. The Ramirez family had their patio ripped out over code issues that popped up right after they challenged her at a meeting. This wasn't governance. It was a shakedown racket wrapped in bylaws. No way was I bankrolling her games. Looking her dead in the eye, I said, "I'm not paying until you prove these charges are legit." Her mask slipped, fury flashed, raw and ugly. She leaned in close, voice dropping to a hiss. "Mr. Reynolds, rules keep this place civilized. Break them, and things get uncomfortable." Jason fidgeted behind her, clearly hating every second. That's when it hit me. This wasn't just about my workshop. If a tough vet like Jason was spooked, what hold did she have? She checked her watch dramatically. 24 hours, Michael. After that, we handle it our way. As she sauntered off, she tossed over her shoulder, "And I'd watch who you talk to." Word travels fast in tight-knit spots like this. That night, sleep evaded me. Sarah and I pored over association minutes at the dining table, piecing together the puzzle. "Maybe just settle it," she suggested wearily. "This isn't worth the stress." But backing down felt wrong. I'd spent years fighting red tape for others. Now it was my backyard on the line. Around 1:30 a.m., fetching water, I glanced out the window and froze. There was Victoria in my yard, shovel in hand, digging by the workshop's base under moonlight. Methodical, pausing to scan for watchers, she buried something box-like before vanishing like a shadow. Sarah and I replayed the security feed thrice, hearts pounding. "What could it be?" she whispered. Whatever it was, it screamed trouble. Folks don't play gravedigger at midnight unless they're hiding something nasty. Next day, I dove in not with a shovel, but records. At the county clerk's office, patterns emerged. 22 demolition filings from Victoria over 3 years, all cookie-cutter language, signed by Judge Harlan Woad, passed away 10 months prior. Ghost judge or forgery. And the targets? Always folks like me. Seniors on fixed incomes, single parents scraping by, vets without deep pockets for lawyers. Preying on the vulnerable. The breakthrough came at lunch, parked outside the courthouse with stacks of copies. A tap on the window. Emily Langford, Victoria's sister and association secretary, looking haggard, eyes darting. Can we talk? She murmured. We drove to a diner 2 towns over, away from prying eyes. Nursing untouched coffee, she spilled. My sister's ruining lives, and I can't stomach it anymore. Victoria owed $90,000 to shady lenders after a botched property flip. To pay up, she engineered foreclosures. Fake fines drove owners out. She scooped homes cheap, flipped for profit. Demolished add-ons. Salvaged for scrap cash. Emily showed phone pics families evicted. Elders weeping over lost heirlooms. Kids staring at barren yards. She keeps these as mementos. Emily choked. Calls them enforcement wins. Emboldened, I agreed when Emily suggested raiding Victoria's storage locker for proof. Mistake. Victoria was waiting, bat in hand, eyes wild. Teamwork, sis. With him, Emily begged forgiveness, but Victoria advanced, swinging practice arcs. You mess with forces beyond your pay grade, she snarled. These lenders don't care about your do-gooder act. The locker yawned open. Pilfered gazebos, tools, swing sets, all from violations. I stood firm. You've underestimated me, Victoria. I've stared down worse than you. Jason appeared then, pry bar ready. Time to back off, ma'am. Outmatched, she relented when her phone rang, face paling at the caller's words. Tomorrow, she muttered, then to me. You're finished. Emily explained en route. Lenders pressuring for quick cash. My workshop's materials premium oak, custom fittings could fetch $12,000 scrapped. Rage boiled, but inspiration struck. I phoned State Attorney General Elizabeth Carter that evening. We'd corresponded on elder abuse cases. She was a bulldog against scams hitting retirees. Her aide said she'd pass through our area next day for a site visit nearby. Could I meet? Timing felt fateful. But replaying footage, the buried box gnawed. Elizabeth called back. Mr. Reynolds, we've eyed your association for fraud 5 months. Victoria's our prime suspect. Help us nail her. Complaints spanned counties, but they needed live witnessing for federal charges. The plan, Elizabeth arrived 7 a.m. for a consult in my workshop. Victoria's demo hit simultaneously. She'd catch felonies red-handed. Your structure might go down, she warned. Sarah and I debated late. Risk our home? But how many more ruined lives? We greenlit it. Complication, Jason knocked pre-dawn, conflicted. I've got orders, Mike. Crew needs gigs, or she sues us under. The paper looked real if not for the dead judge. Trust me, I urged. Someone big's inside when you start. Don't halt. He eyed me like I was nuts, but nodded vet to vet. By 6:45, Jason's team unloaded tools. Victoria screeched up early, disheveled, frantic. Now, before they arrive, black sedans idled blocks away, ominous. I warned Elizabeth by phone. She replied gravely, stay put. These aren't amateurs. Chaos erupted. Victoria grabbed a wrecking bar, howling at delays. Sedans disgorged suited men, lone enforcers, faces like stone. They prodded her. She swung wildly, breaching walls as Elizabeth pulled up. Inside, amid crashes, Elizabeth recorded. This is premeditated, she noted. Victoria spray-painted slurs. Retirees out. Obey or pay. Hate crimes now. A hidden cameraman emerged. FBI agent Mark Donovan. Join up, he announced. We've tracked her mob ties months. Text I'd gotten. His warnings. Emily rushed in with files. Ledgers, transfers, victim lists. Arrests swift. Victoria cuffed. Enforcers detained. Box unearthed amid rubble. Dossiers on targets. Fraud blueprints across 15 associations. Stalking, theft, conspiracy. Trial? Slam dunk. Victoria got 18 years. Thug's life terms. Emily turned state's evidence. Light sentence. Restitution flowed. I rebuilt grander, with Jason's help. Neighborhood Healed Association disbanded, replaced by neighborly chats. I founded Reynolds Elder Advocacy, aiding seniors nationwide. Testified in D.C., Reynolds Act, curbs association abuses. Justice tasted sweet, watching Victoria's empire crumble. From ashes, we built better. What do you think about the violence and injustice woven through stories like this? Share in the comments. Do you believe standing up, even at personal cost, is always worth it? Or should folks sometimes just pay up to avoid the fight? Let's hear your take. Your views could spark a great debate.